This is the Crowdcrux Crowdfunding Podcast with Sal Briggman, where we cover everything you need to know to launch a successful crowdfunding campaign. We speak with proven entrepreneurs who've raised money from the crowd and want to teach you how to do the same. Stay tuned because we're about to reveal how to launch your dream project. With your host, Sal Briggman.
Before we get started with this podcast episode, I want to take a second to introduce you to my friends at Fulfillrite. If you need help shipping out your Kickstarter or Indiegogo perks or rewards, Fulfillrite is the absolute best company for you. I've been working with them for a while and I can vouch for their services. They make it dead simple and take all of the headache out of shipping out all of those boxes, all of those orders to your backers and your customers. If you want to check them out, go to fulfillrite.com at fulfillrite.com. What up, crowdfunders? Welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified podcast. My name is Salvador Briggman. Welcome to the show. On this show, we get into how to launch a successful crowdfunding campaign by interviewing real-world entrepreneurs and individuals that are absolutely crushing it on websites like Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and other crowdfunding sites. We talk about nonprofit crowdfunding. We talk about charity fundraising. We also talk about equity crowdfunding. It's all about how to raise money for your passion, how to raise money for your business, and also actionable techniques and tips and ways that can get you there faster. I kind of got excited and I guess enthusiastic and passionate about this industry back in 2012. I've grown a ton since I started my work with crowdfunding. I started a blog, crowdcrux.com, progressed from there, started a podcast in 2015. I have a YouTube channel now that now has over 10,000 subscribers. It's really been growing as a way to educate people out there that are looking to see not only, number one, how they can raise money for their project, but also gain a little bit of inspiration. I think that hearing some of these success stories is not only inspiring to me, but also so many other people out there that are listening right now. Today's project, I interviewed a team that raised over $800,000 for the world's first self-cleaning robot mop and vacuum. They tell you what worked, what didn't, how they actually were able to gather an email list of more than 20,000 people before they went live with their project, as well as their advice on the media outreach kind of side of the project and things that they wish that they did better. Some of the stuff that they haven't really admitted anywhere else, but they want to share with you guys. So I think you're going to get a lot out of today's episode. If you've been listening to this podcast, maybe one or two of my other episodes, and you're like, okay, Sal, this is great. I'm really retaining some of this information. I hear what you're saying. I got to do this, this, and this. But I'd love a little bit more guidance. I'd love to talk with you one-on-one and maybe pick your brain a little bit and learn what should I do for my specific project and product? How can I be successful? What people should I be talking to in the industry? What resources should I be using? I talk about all of that on my individual one-on-one coaching calls. So I use these coaching calls, number one, as a way to get to know you, but also to give you advice, tips, and connect you with resources that I think can supercharge your project. We can get into the strategy. I can give you feedback on the video if you already have that. And we can really make this a serious project and something that's going to absolutely, go viral on Kickstarter, and that's going to actually gather a crowd of people. There is a Kickstarter launch formula, the name of my book, name drop. There is a Kickstarter launch formula out there, and I spent a lot of time figuring that out. So you can pretty much just speed to the front of the line, and you can learn all of that in a coaching call. If you're interested in booking a one-on-one call with me, you can go to crowdcrux.com/coaching. That is crowdcrux.com/coaching. Give me a little bit of information about you and your project, and tell me a little bit about how much you're looking to raise and the category and these different things, and we can book a one-on-one call today, and we can get serious about your project together. Without further ado, let's get into today's podcast episode and learn how Narwhal was able to raise over $800,000 on Kickstarter. Hey guys, welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified podcast. Excited to bring you a ridiculously successful campaign on Kickstarter. Has raised over $800,000 for Narwhal, the world's self-cleaning robot mop and vacuum. We have the privilege today of speaking with Jacob, who's in charge of marketing of this project. Jacob, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Salvador. Hi, everyone.
Do you think you could start by maybe telling listeners a little bit about what Narwhal is? You can describe it to them and also who would use this.
Yes. So I believe you guys have heard of many robot vacuum on the market, but I believe you have never heard of a good robot mop. So Narwhal is a real robot mop with a cleaning base which can clean the mop. So the full mopping session is totally automatic. You don't have to, like other robot mop, you have to wash the mop by hand. This is totally hands-free.
So this is kind of a dumb question, but what's the difference between Narwhal and like a Roomba? You know, those kind of vacuums that go around?
Yes, so Roomba is only a robot vacuum which only do the sweeping, but Narwhal can do both vacuuming and mopping.
Very cool, very cool. How long have you been working on this project? I mean, it's such a incredibly well fleshed out project. The technology looks pretty next wave, next generation. How long have you been working on Narwhal?
So we've spent last 3 years developing the product, and it was a really difficult one to develop. We have over 80 engineers in our company, and we've spent millions of dollars in this project.
That's incredible, man. And where are you based in?
We are based in Zhongshanhu, China.
Nice, nice. Actually, so one of the questions I had for you when it came to creating this product, you know, especially out of China, I think that Kickstarter, you know, it sort of started in America and then sort of progressed outwards. What is the reception like in China when it comes to Kickstarter and crowdfunding and those types of products?
For Kickstarter, we think it's a good platform to spread the word for innovative products, and it's a good place for hardware creators to find early adopters and to find a media journalist, more media exposure.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys have any kind of crowdfunding platform over there that like competes with Kickstarter?
We do have some crowdfunding platforms, but they're more like pre-sale.
Oh, okay. I see. When it came to creating this first prototype, I mean, investing a lot of money and having a bunch of engineers, I think that's incredible. And it obviously says a lot to the testament of the quality of the product. How is it that you were able to do that? Like, was this all self-funded? Did you raise venture capital? How were you able to create the first prototype?
Yes. So we are invested by the chairman of DJI, the famous company which make the drone, and we have serial. We are now funded at Series A stage. So this is really. I just believe like all our team, we believe that this is an incredible project. And we will make success if we finally bring it to the market.
What made you also so passionate about making something like this? Because we've been seeing more like automated home cleaning devices come to life. We've been seeing more products like this, like the Roomba, come into the home. What is your vision there of a company? Like, are you looking to sort of modernize the home, make it more smart? Like, why is it you actually made this product?
It's because I think our founder, he wants to, help his mom and many others to set them free from daily houseworks, and we do believe that sweeping is just the first step. What's more time consuming and costs more labor is the mopping. So we decide to make this mopping robot to help millions of families out there.
And you think about how much time you spend on that. Geez, add that number up. That's a lot of hours in your life that you're actually spending cleaning your house. And
That's
even
right.
if you like hire a maid or something like that, that's a lot to invest over your course of your life. So I can
Hmm.
totally see where a product like this could come into the home. Was this your first then Kickstarter campaign? Like you've never done a crowdfunding before?
That's right. This is our first campaign.
What was that launch process like? Because I know if you're going to go public on a Kickstarter platform, like that's kind of
Hmm.
scary to do. What was your process like getting ready for the project?
So we made videos, and then we spent about 2 months to do the pre-launch campaign to collect around um, 20,000 email list, and then we launched on Kickstarter.
20,000, geez, that's a hefty number.
Yes.
Were you sending people like from Facebook or like where? How did you gather that email list?
We use Facebook ads and Google ads.
And you directed them to like a landing page kind of thing?
Yes, yes, yes.
Did you learn anything on that? Because I have a lot of students who are trying to do the exact same thing. You know, they're trying to build up an email list of followers, and specifically
Hmm.
for a launch. Did you learn anything when you're putting together that phase and like trying to build an email list?
We actually hired someone to do this for us.
Do you remember the company name?
It's a small agency. I don't recall.
Okay. Did you, when you were like figuring out how to put together the landing page, what were some of the things that you needed to do? Like, did you have to clarify your message or do you have to have high quality images? What do you think really made that good landing page?
I think you just have to, um, because people really spend like just couple seconds to look at your page. So you should really tell them what it is, and show them how good the discount is for the crowdfunding compared to retail. That really attract them to leave their email to you.
Basically, keep it simple. Tell them exactly what it is they're getting or like the core benefit there, the promise. And yeah, I think also having that like exclusivity definitely does a
Hmm.
lot with a landing page.
Hmm.
So basically, you spend the time, you gather 20,000 emails, and then you launch this thing on Kickstarter, and you like blew past your goal in the first day. I mean, you had a $30,000 goal, right?
Hmm.
Did you expect to raise this much with your project?
We had some expectations, and I had to say because we reached our goal in only 11 minutes,
Jeez.
so
Why so
it was a,
long? Why did you take so long, man? I'm joking. Yeah.
so it was surprising.
Was that all from the email list, or like were those people backing you organically on Kickstarter?
I would say it's a mix,
Hmm.
and most of them they're like super backers.
People who have backed projects before.
Yes.
Okay. So basically, you go live, you see this huge boost in funding in the first couple of days here. Then it looks like it sort of tapers off a little bit, but you're still growing every single day. Where's that like growth coming from? Like, are you doing media outreach? Are you doing Facebook ads? Are you doing some other type of marketing? How are you continuing to grow that momentum?
Yeah, that's a good question because from the website you only see the numbers is growing, but behind that we have spent time to do a lot of things, to communicate with journalists, to pitch to YouTubers, and to find some website who has a community to promote for us. So you name it, a lot of things we've done.
Hmm. When it came to pitching journalists, did you have an approach there? Like, did you send out a press release? Did you individually email people? What was your approach on the media front?
I have to be honest. I think for all aspects, we're kind of weak on media outreach. It's more difficult than we thought, and the journalists, they all take it more serious because we are, it's still a prototype stage, and there are some minor software issues which will be solved in the future. But we didn't expect that they will be so serious that some of them they delayed or they don't want to publish the article.
And that's because they didn't have to try out the product, basically.
Yeah, we did send the samples to them to try out, but they said they prefer to write a review on an article when it's ready for retail or the product is final. One of the reasons I think is because a lot of Kickstarter campaigns, they raise a lot of money, but they never deliver. So I think the journalists now they are more cautious,
skeptical. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When it came to other media mentions that you had, like you got on Tech Hive saying that the Narwhal did a much better job than the cloth dragging hybrid vacuum mops. How did you get that kind of media mention?
We send a sample to him, and he tried out, and that's how we got the review.
Awesome. So kind of really getting in front of them, making sure that they can try this out is like a really good tip, I would say. And they can sample it.
Of course, and especially this is not a simple gadget. So if you want to convince them, you have to send a sample.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, when it comes to, sort of going beyond that and going after influencers like on YouTube, you mentioned YouTube being one of the avenues, or I guess the distribution platforms where you're trying to get in. What's been your success like there, like trying to get YouTubers to talk about the products?
To be honest, we're still communicating with influencers. We have not get any out of that.
Okay, you can send me one. My apartment's pretty dirty.
Okay.
Just kidding there. So like, I think that when you're doing any kind of crowdfunding campaign, you're kind of learning on the fly, right? Like you're kind of learning about media outreach. You're learning about how do you continue to build momentum, engage backers. What was that like from having a company based in China? Because China, obviously, you're a little bit more limited on some of the social media there. And also, like, I don't know what the environment's like there. So I'm just kind of curious, if you were to speak to other Chinese creators or entrepreneurs, what was it like? How was it different launching from there?
I would say it's not so much different. You just have to work on your days and nights, more on the nights because, the time difference. And to be able to communicate with, journalists or any third-party agent overseas, I think it will be beneficial to have someone on board who can understand the culture over there.
Yeah, or have someone who also understands like the copywriting and the phraseology and all that stuff, and also like the time zone difference. That's also something to keep in mind.
Yes, that's correct.
Did you find like manufacturing was easier since you are based in China and you guys have an incredible manufacturing, system there?
Sure. The manufacturer is sure you get quicker response, much quicker response, as we are based here.
And you can also speak the language, so it's a little bit easier communicating there.
Yes. I did know someone from Canada who has spent 2 years for their product and did not make any progress.
Oh, Lord. That's a long time to spend. I had to interrupt this podcast episode because I want to introduce you to my friends at The Gadget Flow. Their product discovery platform reaches 22 million people per month. They've helped more than 5,000 crowdfunding campaigns thus far, and they have a social media following of more than 700,000 followers. If you want to gain access to their marketplace and list your own product, you can go to thegadgetflow.com/submit and list your project today. So I guess I have a few more questions here, but one of the questions that I had for you specifically was, this is the first campaign you've worked on from the marketing side. And,
Yes.
You had a lot of success so far, so I'm sure you're doing your job pretty well right now. What is something that you specifically learned about yourself or from doing this that you grew, or something that you learned throughout this process?
I think on Kickstarter, many backers, they are very professional, even more than we are. So they provide many valuable insights. Especially there are some cultural difference and some details we never thought of. So like I'll give you an example that a lot of people in the States, they have allergies, so they do care about what kind of detergent you use, and they care more about home automation. So that's what we did not look so much into.
So kind of understanding your backers a little bit more as you're going, and as the product interacts with the marketplace, they sort of give you that feedback of, oh, we need to think about this, or we need to add in this thing, or we need to answer this question.
Yes. And in particular, we sent out 2 surveys. One before we launched the campaign to understand our backers. So just to get a rough idea of what's their ideal price range is, and how much do they like our product, and some basic information. And we sent out another survey during the middle of our campaign, when we have a lot of traffic, but the conversion rate started to decrease. And we sent out a survey to ask them what was the reason that didn't back us, or the reason that they might drop their pledge. And we find out a lot of helpful informations. And so we made additional content to strengthen their belief in us.
And also, when it came to that, so you sent that out to your email list, you're saying, the 20,000 emails that you collected?
Yes.
And what kind of replies were you getting there? Was it that people were confused, or they just didn't see the purpose of it, or?
You mean the second survey, right?
Yeah. Why it is they didn't back it?
Okay, so in the beginning, we thought it was because it was too expensive, but it turned out that they want to see more third-party reviews, and they want to see more real videos, not just our commercials.
Okay, so they basically they thought it was too good to be true, and they wanted to see more. I guess amateur video kind of thing, showing someone using the product, or other people that are not invested in the project giving their feedback there.
Yes.
Interesting. That's so cool, because you've created a very well designed campaign that I can see why it is that they would say that, because it looks so good. And the promise that you're making of this completely, automated home, self-cleaning robot mop and vacuum, that's a really freaking cool thing. I could see people being like, is this really going to work? Or is this really doing what these guys are saying? It's almost like having convinced them that, yeah, this is legit, or this is something that you've been working hard on. So as you're going through this project, you're having all these different realizations. You're learning a bit about email marketing, Facebook ads, which it looks like you're still doing here with the project. One of the things it looks like you did was you did this cash back referral program, right, with Kickbooster. Did you find that to be effective? Did that help your project?
It did.
And do you have any thoughts on how, to what degree? Was it just kind of another revenue stream for it?
I think they worked quite well. I would recommend this to any creators.
And what do people get for those that are listening right now and might be interested in Narwhal? What do they get for this cashback system you have set up?
They get a percentage of sales they bring.
So someone would basically go on your page, promote the link, and then if one of their friends supported it, they would get like a fee, kind of like a commission.
Yes.
Okay, very cool. So we can, if you guys are interested, you can check that out at Narwhal, Narwal. You can plug that into Kickstarter, and that will come up. When it comes to like putting together a crowdfunding campaign page, there are so many different things happening behind the scenes. And I know that like from the outset, it looks super successful. I was just kind of curious, could you share with the audience one struggle or one thing you had to overcome as a team with this campaign, just so that they know like you didn't just have a smash success here? Like I'm sure there were some things you had to work through, some problems. Would you be willing to share one of those?
You mean on the page?
On the entire campaign.
Okay, so we had a lot of struggles. So so let me think a good one. So as I mentioned, we had a lot of expectations for for PR, but it did not turn out very well. But then we spent time to try, other ways to bring traffic to our page. So there are many ways to work it out.
Mm-hmm. And aside, so then what did you discover there, like that other way to drive traffic?
When you have a live page of a campaign, you receive emails every day for potential cooperation, and some of them are, a lot of them are, seems very skeptical to you, but you just have to spend time to find out the good ones.
Mm-hmm. So basically, when you launch, being aware that you're going to get a lot of people who can promote your project and like kind of research a little bit about that, and some of those can be legit and help you out.
Yes.
I look like you also kind of partnered with Jellup there on the Facebook ad front with your project. Yeah. Would you be willing to share maybe another obstacle that you guys had to overcome as a team with this project?
Another obstacle. Oh, okay. So you mentioned Jellup. I think we had, we did not invest much in advertising because they are very pricey, and our in-house team was not able to drive good return on investment from Facebook ads. And with JLo, they did really well. They bring a lot of traffic and orders, but they're also expensive. So I would say advertising is a difficult part, but it's very crucial that you do well on advertising, because that's one mainstream for you to get your traffic.
Why do you think they were able to have a better ROI on Facebook ads than you guys were able to in-house?
I think they've spent, many years in, they're specialized in Kickstarter campaign, and so they have a lot of user data with them, and that's their specialty.
So they have more familiarity, yeah, with the campaign and the industry in general.
Yes.
Looking back, you have 10 days left to go here, it looks like, at the time we're recording this. People can get in by typing in Narwhal on Kickstarter. Would you have done anything differently with this campaign? I mean, you've already surpassed your goal by nearly 3,000%. Well, more than 3,000%. Would you have done anything differently with this campaign? You mentioned the PR aspect. And you mentioned a bit about that. Would you have done anything differently?
We would, it's never too much to spend more days to be prepared for the campaign. Even though we spent 2-3 months for the campaign, we still don't think it's enough. So just don't rush. I think we still rushed a bit for the campaign.
And also, it seems like having more like not so filtered and like professional looking video maybe could actually be a good thing, because it shows like an everyday person is using the product.
Yes, that's right.
Interesting. Awesome, man. Well, this has been a lot of really great insights, a lot of great, I think, tips and advice for people. Where can they go to learn a little bit more about Narwhal, and also maybe some of the projects you might be having come out in the future?
So they can go to our website, Narwhal Robotics. It's currently still a landing page, but our page we were working on it soon. But and they can also go to our Facebook, Instagram page, which they will find more informations. And also they can go to our YouTube page to find more videos. We recently uploaded more just real-time videos of Narwhal self-cleaning. Some people asked us if you can really do the job, can you clean the mop pads as good as manually? And we showed them it's really a very distinguishable comparison. And we mopped the really dried stubborn stands on the floor, dried coffee stand, dried wine, even a marker. Those are incredible videos, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of good content here I'm seeing on the YouTube channel. So like a self-cleaning demo, also just kind of showing how you use it, and a sort of a cleaning test, etc. So kind of neat there. So my final question for you is, I'm going to let you have the last word here. Could you talk to one of the listeners who's just now getting started with their campaign, their crowdfunding campaign? You could end with a word of final encouragement, a final tip that you have, or just something you wish you knew when you were getting started with the project.
So before we got started, a lot of people told us that your project is not going to work on Kickstarter. But I would say that for creators out there, if you have belief in your product, work hard on your campaign, and you will find people who will support you.
Well said. Jacob, thank you so much for coming on the show, sharing all of that great info, and we will have to have you back. Let me tell you about our latest sponsor, SendPro Online by Pitney Bowes. Shipping can be complex. Things can get really confusing really fast. With SendPro Online, it's easy to save time and money no matter what you send, from letters and packages to overnights and flats. You can easily compare USPS, UPS, and FedEx in an all-in-one online tool. You can print shipping labels and stamps directly from your printer. You can even track all of your shipments and get email notifications when they've arrived. SendPro Online is only $14.99 a month, and listeners can get a free 30-day trial when you visit pb.com/crowdcrux. That's pb.com/crowdcrux. Experience the convenience of SendPro Online for yourself when you sign up for a free 30-day trial. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Crowdfunding Demystified podcast. Again, my name is Salvador Briggman. Thank you so much for listening to this show. And I have two other really quick announcements that I'd love to share with you that I think are going to benefit you a lot. So you've been listening to this podcast. You saw how this individual, this team, raised over $800,000. And you're like, man, so many people are crushing it on Kickstarter. And they're not even in the United States, like people around the world. How do I get in on this? Well, first of all, you have to go, I think, from the learning about it phase. I think it's great. Like, that's the reason why I put out so much education, YouTube videos, blog posts, books, podcast episodes, because I want to spread awareness and education. But then you have to get a little bit more serious about your project. And I think the best way to do that is to start with a one-on-one coaching call with me, because number one, I can speed up a lot of time It can save you so much time when it comes to what do you have to do going forward, what's the best strategy for actually getting funding, who should you be talking to in the industry, what are the resources you should be checking out. I save you a ton of time. And I almost virtually guarantee by just having a one-on-one coaching call with me, you're going to raise more money when you actually go live with your project. There's so many testimonials that say some of my techniques and some of the things I've shared with them have helped them get funded, helped them raise even more money if they were live on Kickstarter. So you can go and book a coaching call today at crowdcrux.com/coaching. That is crowdcrux.com/coaching, crowdcrux.com/coaching. Go to that link. Tell me a little bit about you, about the project, how much you're looking to raise money for, all these different things, and we can book a one-on-one coaching call today. The other quick announcement that I have for you here is if you are interested in starting your own podcast, you've been listening to me and you maybe kind of want to also get your voice out there in the world. You want to interview other people. You want to kind of start a show, maybe an educational show, or maybe one more entertainment related or more comedic. You know, I'm not a comedian, but maybe you have that gift of humor. Sound like a robot there, a gift of humor. But if you're interested in starting your own show, I've been doing this podcast since 2015. I've learned so much when it comes to how to speak good, the right microphone, how to actually edit these podcasts, how to promote them, how to get downloads and listeners. This show, I believe we have over 200 episodes now. I think we also have over 200 positive reviews in iTunes. Learning how to do that is a skill, and I can teach you. I can speed up the process. I can show you exactly how to do that. I can show you how to launch a blockbuster podcast, and in that way, gather a tribe of people around you who listen to your voice every single day, who listen, to 40 minutes of you having a conversation with a guest, and who really are bought into you and your brand. And I think it's kind of one of the most selfless things that you can do, honestly, because by putting your voice out there, if you do have a message that is meant to impact other people, meant to inspire people, and meant to solve their problems in some way, I think that you almost have an obligation to do that. We've been so much I don't like to say it, but we've been screwed over, I think, by a lot of our education in school when it comes to, college, high school, etc., because it doesn't really connect us with what's happening in the real world. No one's really showing you how to start a podcast. No one's showing you how to do social media. No one's showing you how to build a business, an online business. But if you have any kind of expertise, or you have something that you think you can share with the universe, with the world, I firmly believe that you have an obligation to do so because you were given those gifts for a reason. So if you're interested in starting, growing, and monetizing your own podcast, I have a link for you here. You can go to crowdcrux.com/free podcasting course. That is crowdcrux.com/free podcasting course. crowdcrux.com/free podcasting course, and I will introduce you to free lessons that will get you up to speed in terms of how to launch your own podcast, how to sound better with a podcast episode, not sound so timid and meek like I did when I first got started, and also some of the best equipment out there for getting an episode and also doing it on a budget. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will speak to you next time.